Welcome. Welcome to the Esri and Not Another Lunch and Learn. My name is Mike Del Pree, Executive Director of the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. Thank you for being here. We do this every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. We have a special guest that is a local real estate investor or provides a service to real estate investors throughout the state of Arizona. So we'd love to have them on to help our members get educated. So our purpose here at Esria is to unlock and accelerate our members' ability to invest in real estate through education, market information, support, and networking opportunities so that they can elevate their financial well-being. That's why we're here. So thanks again for being here. If you're online on Facebook, you're on Instagram, just pop your questions in. We'll get your questions answered from Marcus. We'll be bringing him on in a few minutes. As always, check out our website, esria.org. We're on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. So you can find us anywhere that you prefer. So I'll just get kicked off here and let you know about Esria and what we got coming up over the next couple weeks. As everybody already knows, the Esria Phoenix monthly meeting happens on the second Monday of every month. And this month, it's Monday, November 14th. That meeting is held at Venue 8600 in North Scottsdale. So the main thing about that meeting is the networking, meeting other real estate investors. So we have a networking time. We have our market news and trends. So you understand where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Okay. So it's a pivotal to your real estate investing business. This is a must attend, must see presentation. We always do our association update, let you know what we got going on. And then we have our education at towards the end of the evening. So I'll go over more of that a little bit later. But the key here is it's our 20th anniversary. We've been supporting real estate investors for 2 decades here in the state of Arizona. Nobody can say that they have been doing that for investors through government affairs, networking, education, resources. So come celebrate with us. We're doing a donation drive with Maggie's Place. That's definitely very important charity for us. It's single mothers that need support. Okay, so we have a podcast on that. You can learn all about them. We're doing a drive, so I'll talk about what we need to bring them. Also, you're going to have the opportunity to win prizes. We have I think it was over 20, Molly's like 20,000 worth of prizes, 25,000. We have education giveaways from Steve Trang and John Burley, hot air balloon experiences, TVs, Suns tickets, you name it. By donating to Maggie's Place, you get an opportunity to win some of these prizes. So join us Monday, November 14th. Then the next day, we drive down to Tucson, November 15th for our Tucson chapter and do our monthly meeting. And then on the 4th Tuesday of every month, we do the Phoenix Real Estate Club. This is Tuesday, November 22nd. Now on the Phoenix Real Estate Club, you get a lot of information thrown at you at the monthly meeting. And just, you learn a lot from going to all our events. So we like to make the Phoenix Real Estate Club a place where you come and have a discussion with other like-minded investors, new investors, experienced investors, seasoned investors, you name it, a lot of different people in there. So on the 4th Tuesday, it's close to Thanksgiving this year, so it's November 22nd. We want to know if you're going to come. All right. So the last group that we had, a lot of people raised their hands that they will be in attendance. So Molly is going to be baking up a bunch of pies, handmade for everybody. So let's have a real estate discussion. Let's meet some new investors. Let's do the have and wants session. Let's do the power of networking. Let's talk about the deals that we're doing in today's market so we get a good grasp of what's going on. So once again, Tuesday, November 22nd, lock that in your calendars. Oh, let's see here. We have next, once again, here's the 20 years celebration. Here's what we need for Maggie's Place: baby lotion, wipes, baby bottles, diapers, diaper bags, baby formula, breast pumps. This is what we need specifically, and this is what we can accept. So we can't just accept random things that you feel that they need. So this is what they're requesting. This is what we would like to support them with. And like I said, you can see there's raffle tickets associated with each type of donation. So be sure to look out check out your inbox, our members, because we did send an email out today telling you more about this. Subgroup meetings. We have 12 to 14 a month throughout the state of Arizona. And as you can see, they're in every aspect of real estate investing. Just recently, we launched a group in Bisbee, Arizona. So if you're looking at the southeast part of Arizona, you can attend that while you're in Bisbee or watch it online. We just had the women's group, the third one this last night. Multifamily group was the first one last month. So those are all new. So please come out and support. We have Cash Flow 101 board game is every Saturday, 10 a.m. here at the office in Phoenix. So that's coming up this Saturday. We have the landlord group tomorrow night. So check the calendar at esria.org to see when the dates that these fall on. But these are our subgroup leaders. Are experienced investors in today's market. They've been in the business more than 5 years. You're going to get the resources and the information and your questions answered by these volunteers. So they're great to have. They're very educated. So come check them out, esria.org, to get the dates. Try our new forums. So not only do we hold up to 15 to 20 events a month, you could also now network with each other online and go to the top right of our website and check out the forums. We have several different discussion topics, and most importantly, we put the haves and wants in there. So if you missed the event, and also if you're a member, you get to access the property posting section. So if you're looking to buy an off-market property, sell an off-market property, this is where the investors at. We have thousands of members, and this is where they go and look for property. So support the property posting section, put your property in there, check it out. We've already sold a deal between two members in there. So once again, esria.org/forums. Core skills class. These are the 5 fundamental classes and skill sets that every real estate investor needs, especially if you're new. All right. If you go through these 5 classes, you will know how to do a transaction. And if you're still a little nervous or unsure, you will have the know-how and the right information to ask the right questions or find the right resources to get it done. So we wrap this up. We do about twice a year. All 5 classes are done. You'll be learning from Marcus today. He did our marketing class. We had Mick McGurr come and do our contract class from Focus Law. We had Andrew Augustiniak from People's Mortgage do the Where's the Money class. So these all have been recorded. So you can now pick these up for $150. All 5, get all 5 recordings straight into your inbox. Watch them at your leisure. So go to the Learning Center section of our webpage and you could purchase those or give us a call at the front office. Al Williamson will be our educator at our 20th year anniversary, November 14th. So he's going to spend the week with us. When a national expert comes to town, they hang out with us Monday and Tuesday at our monthly meetings, and then they hang out, do a drill down on Wednesday, and then they do an all day on Saturday. So Al Williamson specializes in extended stays. So he does anything over 31 days. If there's an HOA situation or just anything over a 31-day stay in general is what he focuses on and specializes in. Traveling nurses, business professionals, anyone that needs that type of short-term stay. So he does this multiple different ways, from raising money and buying properties to rental arbitrage. We just recorded our podcast with him. He will be on this Friday at 8 a.m. on all podcast platforms. If you want to know more about who he is, how he runs his business, and what you'll learn on the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 19th, take a listen. He breaks that down for us. So as you can see, on Wednesday, it's $50 for members, $70 for non-members. And it's on Saturday, it's a full day, $169 for members and $199 for non-members. If you attend Saturday, you usually get Wednesday free. So that's an incentive. And if you attend the monthly meeting or any in-person meetings, you do get a discount on this. So if you're planning on coming to any meetings, you could definitely get a discount. We'll roll that out for you. Esria Show, our 50th episode is with Maggie's Place. We just finished that up last week. So once again, if you're going to be donating to them, you want to know more about them and who they are, take a listen. We're on all podcast platforms. We're on YouTube. You can watch in, and like I said, Marcus, I know you're on there. Congratulations, 50 episodes in. So that's pretty exciting. So check out Maggie's Place on our podcast. And as a member, one of our biggest benefits and discounts that you can receive as a real estate investor through AZREIA is with Home Depot. You get 2% cash back twice a year on your purchases, 20% off all liquids, appliance and cabinet program discounts. This is huge for if you're a landlord and you got turns in between tenants, or you're a fix and flipper and you got multiple flips going on. It's about the bottom line. Get those discounts, get your pro account set up with your AZREIA account. You will not get that 2% anywhere else in the country. That's for AZREIA members. So we'd love to have you as a member here at AZREIA. We have 2 programs. If you're going to be here less than 7-8 times a year, we suggest doing the basic. We just increased the prices to $125, so it's $125 a year. And when you attend the main meeting, or it's $10. When you go to subgroup meetings, it's $5. So less than 7 or 8 meetings a year, go with the basic. And if you want to be a plus member, which we just increased that to $250, you can go to all the subgroup meetings and the big meetings for free. So both programs and plans have access to all discounts with all our local and national vendors. Probably have over 40 business providers that provide services to real estate investors that offer you an incentive just because you're AZREIA member. So take a look at that on our business associate page on our website. And with all that being said, Marcus, are you here?
Yes, sir. I am here.
All right. So just thanks for listening to my my spiel of everything we got going. But we brought Marcus in because he is an experienced professional at wholesaling, fix and flipping, landlording, you name it. But today we're going to be talking about virtual wholesaling. Being here in Arizona, wholesaling deals with no money, no credit in other states. Okay, Marcus has been doing this in Chicago for quite some time now, and I know he's gonna tell you his story and everything. So if you're just hopping on Facebook, you're just hopping on Instagram, sit tight. We're gonna give the controls over to Marcus right now. So if you want to take over and share your screen, Marcus, you can do that. And like I said, if you have any questions on Facebook or Instagram, pop them in the comments. Molly will get those over to us so we can get your questions answered. And we're live. Marcus, it's all yours. Right. I will kick back and you can take over, and I'll just interrupt you as we go.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Mike. Thank you, AZREIA. Thank you, members, for being here. I really appreciate this opportunity. What we want to do is make sure you guys know that there's multiple ways to find deals. There's multiple ways to do real estate. So we called this virtual wholesaling, but for the term, I want to use virtual deal finder. So I want you guys to be able to know how to find deals in any market. So no matter if you're here in Arizona, if you want to do deals in Denver, Colorado, you want to do deals in New Mexico, the information that I'll go over today will definitely show you how to do this. And it's something that I've been doing for years. Okay. Just so you get to know who I am, and don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm a value investor and portfolio holder of residential and commercial units. I've been named the Equity King for my impressive ability to find real estate opportunities with massive amount of equity. So we love equity. I'm a high school dropout. I went from GED to completing my MBA in 2011 from Olivet Nazarene University. So I found myself in the back of the classroom at one point, and then became the front of the classroom all in a matter of a couple of years. So that's who I am. I'm a hard worker. I transferred today where I've completed over 3.3 million in wholesale transactions. I am a licensed agent and an active member of PAR, the Phoenix Association of Realtors. I've been on numerous podcasts from Bigger Pockets, but what I am mostly accomplished about is being the host and co-host of the AZREIA show that you guys faithfully listen to every week. So give yourselves a round of applause for being loyal listeners to the AZREIA show. And then also, philanthropy, I'm big in philanthropy. I'm a a consultant for a successful nonprofit institution on the south side of Chicago, where I use my expertise in development of human capital and real estate, to help them secure more beds, to place more kids out of dangerous situations and give them a vital, stable home to live in. Okay, so that's who I am. And go ahead, Mike.
Do you sleep, Marcus?
Do I sleep?
Yeah, geez.
Yeah, man. I sleep the very few hours, but you know what? I'm an early sleeper and an early riser, so I go to bed early and I just wake up late. Awesome. Wake up early. Yep.
There you go.
All right, so let's get into the meat of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about virtual wholesaling and virtual deal finding. So why would somebody choose a virtual market? So being here local in Arizona, why would you want to choose a virtual market? And guys, feel free to ask any questions in the chat and I'll answer questions as we go. So for example, Arizona, we just went through a huge boom. The market is starting to take a downturn. I was just listening to Fed Chair Powell right before we got on, and interest rates just went up again. So why would you decide to go to a virtual market? One is inflated prices in your home market. Let's just say if you're starting, you barely have any money and you're looking for rentals and you don't have $400,000 to pay for a rental and the rent rates just don't work out for you. You're not hitting that 1% rule or the 2% rule. So you say, you know what? I want to go to the Rust Belt or go down south to find properties for $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 that rent for $900 to $1,100. So that's one reason to go to a virtual market. Again, because of the inflated prices. Also looking for cash flow real estate areas. So you have appreciation markets versus cash flow markets. So with that being said, Arizona is definitely more of an appreciation market than a cash flow market. So if you're looking, again, the same example that I use, if you're looking for rentals and you want to do passive income versus fix and flipping, you're going to look to states that's in the Rust Belt or states that's in the South. So what I'm going to teach you today will definitely give you a leg up on some of your competition on how to find deals in those markets where you can definitely get a larger ROI and cash on cash return on your money. Now, if you're looking for fix and flips, naturally, Arizona and the coastal cities is a great place for that because those are appreciation markets. And then also government restrictions. So you want to look for tenant-friendly states. So if you're here in Arizona and you're thinking about, oh, you know what, I want to do deals, and I'll just use one of my virtual markets, Illinois, for example. Illinois is not a tenant-friendly state. So we try not to hold a lot of properties in that state because eviction process is a lot longer. And guys, I'm telling you, the eviction process can be anywhere from 12 to 18 months to get someone out. And the whole time they're damaging your property. You still have to pay the mortgage, still have to pay the property taxes. And a lot of times you still have to pay for utilities, because in the winter, you still want to have those utilities on because you don't want damage to your water pipes or things like that. So those are some key reasons why to choose a virtual market. Again, appreciation, cash flow, and government restrictions and programs. So the main thing that I like to ask people is, what are you trying to accomplish? By going to a virtual market, is it so you can do flips? Is it so you can do increase your cash flow by looking for rentals? So you have to know your strategy. One of the things that AZREIA is big on is knowing your investor identity. Mike just hosted the Launchpad session this past Saturday, and it's all focused on knowing your investor identity. what are you trying to accomplish? So are you trying to find cash flow properties? So do you want to be a landlord or portfolio holder? Do you want to do strictly fix and flips? Do you want to do short-term rentals or extended stay investing? Or do you want to wholesale? So by knowing that investor identity, it'll let you know exactly which routes you want to go into when doing virtual deals. So for me, I do cash flow, I do fix and flips, and I wholesale. So I don't do anything with short-term rentals or extended stay investing. So I don't position myself to know much about short-term rentals or extended stay. So when I, yes, sir.
Bob wants to know, is California tend to be landlord or tenant friendly?
Absolutely not. California is more tenant friendly than anything. I think California is probably the most restrictive state there is. And I think Illinois follows up, as a distant second. So if you're looking to buy cash flowing properties in California, one, it's difficult to find cash flowing properties in California. And then two, you have to deal with a lot of state restrictions and red tape in order to do any evictions or tenant placements. So probably stay away from California right now as an investor. Okay. Okay. So how to find your virtual market. I mean, I can go real deep into this, but we have a limited amount of time. So I'm just going to give you the surface, but there's definitely more meat, on this bone besides what we have right here due to the limited time. So how to find a virtual market. There's sources, there's grassroots sources. So being familiar with your local RIA, in those markets. So if I'm deciding to go into another market, let's just say if I'm going to go into Arkansas, I'm going to reach out to ARC, the Arkansas Association, Arkansas RIA. So I'm going to look into the Arkansas RIA, more than likely become a member and sit in a lot of the classes. Again, knowing that investor identity, if I'm going to be a landlord, I'm going to follow up with all of the landlords, get to know the landlords, ask about, what are some of the laws, what are some of the restrictions, what are some of the do's, and what are some of the don'ts in that state before I decide to invest in that state. So again, not every RIA is as in-depth and provide as much content as our RIA, but some RIAs do have that information there for you. So you can always go to the National RIA's website and see where that RIA is and reach out to that RIA to find out more information about that market. So that's one grassroots effort. Another grassroots effort is you can contact the county tax assessor or the county clerk. They will give you information about properties. A lot of time what you need to have is the assessor parcel number, or in certain states, it's called the PIN number, the property identification number. And you can find out by asking questions with the county clerk or the assessor office what you can and what you cannot do in that state as far as legalities around being a landlord, fixing and flipping, if there's any covenants or restrictions in that area. So those are good places where you can find that information. But the main thing is really getting to know the community. One of the things that I always talk about is know the demographics of that community. Become well-versed in what are the areas you want to be in, what are the areas you don't want to be in. So with virtual deal finding, it takes another level of effort getting to know people, getting on the phone, becoming friends on Facebook, asking tons of questions, finding out exactly what you can and cannot do in that market. So with that being said, there's definitely some electronic sources that you can use. One that I teach our students is the USPS, so the United States Postal Service. A lot of people overlook the United States Postal Service, but they have a ton of quality data on their site. You can go to USPS.gov/ whatever market you want to go into. So / whatever zip code that is. So USPS.gov/ 85142. I'm in Queen Creek currently. So if I want to know demographics about Queen Creek, I can go there and get it from the United States Postal Service. The only thing about that data is it is a little bit older because it goes on by the census tract. So normally it's updated, I think every 2 years or every 4 years. So sometimes the data can be a little bit dated, but you can interpret the data by looking at the household demographics, the median income in those areas, the crime stats in those areas as well. So United States Postal Service is one way. Another way is PropStream. That is a online subscription, and as an ASREA member, and even not an ASREA member, we have a promo code, which is ASREA. The membership is like $99 a month, but with PropStream, you can find out tons of information about a property, a particular home owner, a particular investor. So if you have an address 123 Main Street, Denver, Colorado, you could put that in PropStream and it will show who's the owner, how long they owned it, their mortgage details, how much they owe left on the mortgage. You can pull comps there as well, so you can learn about the properties right there in PropStream. I use it daily. I know Mike is very familiar with it and he uses it quite often. So it's a great tool.
Yeah, hey Molly, can you put the 7-day free trial link in all the comments? But yeah, PropStream is huge. Basically, you have MLS access to any state in the country, so very helpful.
Absolutely. So guys, take advantage, use that 7-day free trial just to get on there and play around with it and see if it's something that you would be interested in. Because again, you don't have MLS data. You can't go and become a member of every realtor association or be a realtor in every state that you want to go into, because that would be tons of money. So you just use PropStream. And if I want to go to Denver, Colorado, like I said, I can look up all of the information in Denver. Also with PropStream, if you're looking to buy multifamily houses, you can put in the demographics, hey, I'm looking for multifamily houses where the owner owned the property for 5 years or more and have 50% equity in their property. It'll pull up all of those properties, and then you can pick up the phone, call them, send them a direct mail piece, market to them. But let me slow down. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So the next one is ListSource. So if you don't want to do the $99 a month, you can be a member of ListSource, which is free. But the only thing about ListSource, and what I deter people from ListSource, it's pay per piece of data. So if you're trying to pull 1,000 addresses or 1,000 multifamily properties, you're going to pay for each multifamily property demographics that you pull, versus PropStream. You can pull up to 10,000 a month for that $99. But ListSource has quality data. It does not provide you with comps or anything like that as PropStream does, but it is still give you the homeowners information that you can then skip trace and reach out to them. Zillow is the next one. So one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, and that I hear from a lot of investors when they're going into a virtual market, is they don't know what areas to go into, what areas to stay out of. And real estate, we call them war zones. So a lot of investors, they go in and they look at wow, what is the cap rate, or what is my ROI that I can get on this property? Hey, I can get a 10 cap, I can get a 15 cap, I can get a 20 cap. And they look at the higher the cap rate, well, the better return it is for them. Absolutely. However, if you don't know the demographics, you can get a high cap rate, but it can be in a worse area where you have a lot of tenant turnover or a lot of evictions, and that will directly eat into that cap rate. So by going to Zillow and looking at the crime maps, it's the heat maps, you can see the redder the map is, that's the area that you don't want to be in. The more it turns green, that's the areas that are more welcoming that you should buy in. So just be careful as real estate investors, and you're looking to increase your portfolio or do fix and flips. Always say, try and stay right in that yellow area. You don't want to be completely green where it costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into the property and you get a small return on your investment, 4 cap or 3 cap. And you don't want to be completely red where you have to deal with carjackings, gunshots, bullets, and things like that. So just use that as a tool to identify what area of that market you want to be in. Any questions, Molly?
Yeah, throw your questions in. If you have anything from Marcus, we'll get them answered.
Okay, if there's nothing, we will move.
Another good thing, Marcus, though, like, I love the Zillow crime maps, but one of the great parts about virtual wholesaling is we're not there. So if you find a buyer there, right? If you have that end buyer that loves that neighborhood or those tough areas, you can still wholesale.
Yep, absolutely. And that's one of the big things, and that's what I'm gonna be talking about next is, looking at how you can find, what resources are needed. So we talked about marketing, like Mike, you talked about buyers. How do you find people, sellers in that area that want to sell and buyers in that area that want to buy? So here's some of the resources that we use. One of the things that I always say with being a deal finder is you have to know how to do 2 things. You have to know how to market and you have to know how to negotiate. Those are the 2 key points. If you're not good at either one of them, then you're going to be missing a big part of, how many deals you can do. So I know with me, I'm a better marketer than I am negotiator. So my partner is a better negotiator than marketer. So since we know each one of our skill sets, I focus more on the marketing. He focuses more on the negotiations and working with the acquisitions team. Okay,
Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Question: what is a good cap rate to target given risk-free I bonds was 9.6%?
That's a good question. So the cap rates are really dependent upon the market. So one of the things that we look for is we look for anything 7 and above. And then when we go further into those Rust Belt states, you can easily pull a 10 cap because you're picking those properties up. For example, we picked a property up. This was a few years ago. We picked a property up for $7,500. We put 20 into it. So we're all in at let's just say 30 for the sake of a round number. Our mortgage is right around $300, $250 to $300. And we're renting that property out for $1,200. It's not in the worst neighborhood, but it's definitely not in the best. So it's about a C to C minus neighborhood. And we have never had any problems. Tenant pays. Go ahead.
But yeah, I think that goes back into market as a wholesaler, right? Understanding what your buyers want, mm-hmm. right? Said every market's different, and that's where the RIAs come in and those resources you provided. You could find out what cap rates the buyers want, so then therefore you can write the proper offer to the homeowner.
Exactly, and that's why it's very important to get on the phone and talk to people, because I had a conversation this morning. I was talking with the buyer, And I said, okay, well, what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for, because a lot of times buyers say, well, as long as it makes sense. Well, what makes sense to me does not necessarily make sense to you. So you have to be specific and you have to drill down what makes sense for you. What exactly are you looking for? What areas are you looking to buy in? What's that buy box? Are you looking for 3 bedrooms, 2 baths? Or are you looking for 2 bedrooms, 2 baths? Are you looking for condos, townhouses, single families? So you really have to dig in and speak to your buyers and identify exactly what they want, because every buyer is different and you have to be able to put them in certain boxes. Just like they put their properties and they have a buy box for their properties, you have to have a buy box for your buyers. So you have to know, okay, well, if I'm close to the university, I know these people will buy immediately here. If it's close to the freeway, I know that these buyers will buy immediately here. And that's one of the things that is very, very important, is to, create that identity for each buyer. Okay.
Hey, Mark, just a question. Where do you find the USPS website to find the demographic information?
So what I'll do is, if we have time at the end, I'll pull it up, and then that way they can grab that URL from right there. Okay. So we'll go over that, and I'll make sure we pull that in. So marketing, detailed outline of your target demographics. I cannot harp on this enough. Again, I've been saying it continuously. You have to know exactly where you want to go and focus directly in that area. So for example, if I'm buying property only in West Phoenix, I don't want to send my buyer a property in East Mesa. They're not interested in that. I don't care how sweet the deal is. If they say, I'm specifically looking for properties in 85033, I'm not going to send them at 85251 property, because they're not going to be interested. And that's the quickest way for you to lose touch and lose contact with your buyers. Because one of the things that they're going to do is, once they see that you provide good deals, and it's, if you're text messaging the deals to them, if you're sending emails, when they see your name, they're going to immediately open that opportunity up. The worst thing you can do is send the wrong thing to the wrong buyer, and then they unsubscribe from your email list, or say stop in your text message. Okay. So again, the demographics, you can pull your list. So if you're looking for fix and flips in 85251, you can pull with ListSource, PropStream, even Property Radar. 85251, I'm looking for properties undervalued, so that has a 50% equity position. That means that the seller has paid off 50% of their mortgage. That way you can try and work out a deal. That's the most important thing, is how can I help the seller and still make this a deal for myself or my buyers? So you're going to use PropStream, ListSource, or Property Radar, and there's other sources that you can use as well. And then you have to know your marketing strategy. How are you going to, once you pull this list? So I pulled a list of 5,000 homeowners in Scottsdale, 85251, that have 50% equity or greater, that has a minimum 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. How am I going to reach these people? I have their addresses. I skip traced and got their telephone numbers. How am I going to reach them? So there's a few marketing strategies that I have here. And even when you're doing this virtually, you can do pay-per-click advertising online. You can use TV commercials, radio commercials, DM, which is direct mail. You can cold call. You have TM, which is text messaging, RVM, which is ringless voicemail, and then lastly, DK, which is door knocking. So what we do as a team, and I control everything. I call my home office, I call it the control center. So even though I'm not in Illinois, I control everything from right here in Arizona. So I know that our marketing is going out. First, we pull our list. Well, first we understand our demographics, what population that we're targeting. We're looking for properties in 60619 zip code. We're looking for fix and flip properties. So we're looking for properties where the owner owned the property at least 5 years. They have a 50% equity position in the property. They may have had some other red flag. They may have went through a bankruptcy recently, a divorce recently. It's an absentee owner, which means that they own a property, but they don't live in the property. Water shut off notice. So we're going to target those properties with those demographics in 60619 zip code. And we will send either our direct mail or we would cold call. And we have a team, and they would just sit there and they would do that, and they would target those individuals. So those are the marketing strategies. Pay-per-click, TV and radio. Pay-per-click, TV and radio, and direct mail are the most costly marketing strategies. And then cold calling, text messaging, ringless voicemail, and door knocking, and I didn't add driving for dollars, are the most affordable ways to market. Okay, so I'm here in Arizona. How do I know what's going on in Chicago? How am I managing, how am I finding people to help me do all of this, right?
Hey, Marcus.
So, yep.
Why do you care if the owner owned the house for at least 5 years?
Because more than likely they have a higher equity position. Not all homeowners buy cash. A lot of them get mortgages. So that gives them 5 years of seasoning, 5 years of paying down that mortgage. So they have a higher equity position. So instead of owing 80% of the mortgage, now they may only owe 70% of the mortgage. And by going to PropStream, you can see exactly how much they owe on that mortgage. So that's one reason. Another reason why you want to look at 5 years or more is because normally, for example, here in Arizona, every 6 years, people are ready to either upgrade or downgrade or move due to, kids going from elementary school to high school. They want to be closer to the high school or something like that. So every 6 years, 5 to 6 years, it's a trend where people start getting antsy and they want to move. So now you're targeting those people that may be kicking around. Hey, wife, I'm thinking about, this job transfer, or we want to get the kids in a better school district, and their income, by that time, their income may have increased significantly. So now they're looking to upgrade, or they're older and they're looking to downsize. Any other questions?
So far, so good, man.
All right.
I know we have limited time.
Yep, almost done. So how do you build your team? Key relationships you need. You need lead specialists. Someone, especially if you're not well-versed on the phone. A lot of people are shy to be on the phone. You need somebody to take inbound calls. If you're doing direct mail, you're sending out mail with a telephone number, they're going to call back in. You have to have somebody to receive those inbound calls. And if you're doing cold calling, you have to have somebody to make those outbound calls. Okay. You need an acquisition manager or a closer, someone that's really, really good at sales. You need to have some boots on the ground. That's someone that can go to the property, meet with the seller, take pictures. That way they can verify what the property looks like. You need a national title company, and you need lenders. One of the things that I always tell people is, national title companies. You have Fidelity National Title Company. You have Chicago Title. Those are normally in all 50 states. So if you build a relationship here in Arizona, they'll refer you to someone in those other states. And you can find these people by advertising in Facebook groups, by going to Bigger Pockets, advertising and jumping in their forums. You can connect with people here at AZREIA that's in other markets and ask them, hey, who do you use as a property manager? Who do you use as a contractor? So for example, I know Mike does a lot of things in Cleveland. If I needed to go to Cleveland, I would say, hey, Mike, you know what? I'm looking for a property manager in Cleveland. Do you have somebody that you recommend? Or who closes all of your transactions in Cleveland? Who's your escrow officer? Certain states, you have to use attorneys. You know, who's the attorney that you use for assignments, double closes, creative financing, and things like that. And then also you can post, do social media posts.
That's a good point about the title company. Some states have the attorneys, some do title companies. That's one of the part of your research before you go into the market. But so we have a question here.
Sure.
What is the downside of using a small local title company?
In that market, if you can find someone in that market that does those transactions, because a lot of times when you're using smaller title companies, they don't want to take on the risk, and their insurance don't want to take on the risk of doing assignments and double closes. So
they're slower too.
Yep.
Very slow.
They're slow. They can't address all of your needs. That's one of the things, Mike, I know that you talked about in Cleveland is everybody's slow. There's no sense of urgency, you know,
slow Ohio.
Yeah. Versus here in Arizona, once you submit the contract and the earnest money, you know, you're getting the earnest money receipt, everybody's being notified, everything is moving, you know, pretty quickly. So I always suggest using a national title company because they have more resources. Okay. So how do I learn this information? Okay. Well, it's one of the things that we talk about. You can become a member of the AZ Deal Finders Club. You can email me, mmaloney@equityri.com, and I can definitely steer you in the right direction. Me and Mike, we coach our students weekly on how to find deals in this market and alternative markets across the country. It's the same formula. You just have to tweak a few things with a few key team members.
Yeah, you get, you know, Marcus put together what 12 I think it's 10 modules, 2 bonus modules, so you get 12. You get a whole wholesale course as part of the AZDFC, as well as Marcus and I hold your hand, walk you through the deals every Thursday. It's from 6 to 8. So yeah, check that out. I guess is the WordPress site still down, Marcus?
Yeah, my developer, I just spoke with him. We had to do some things, so it should be up by the end of the day today. That's why I didn't put the web address down there.
So anyone have questions, whether Facebook, Instagram, you know, we got 10 more minutes here. We got Marcus here to answer any questions, any thoughts around virtual wholesaling. Is it real? Is it possible? You know, the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, we both do it. I'm in Cleveland, he's in Chicago, and it's working. So we can answer any questions you want.
So let me kind of talk about just one of the limiting beliefs, because I stumbled upon this. How I got into it, we were doing deals here in Arizona, and my wife's friend, I was posting on social media, hey, this is what I'm doing. And she reached out to me. She was like, hey, you know what? My mom passed away about a year ago. I had a family member in the house, and now I need to sell the house because the taxes, she was on a senior exemption for the taxes, and mom passed away. So that senior exemption was leaving. So I was a little skeptical. I didn't want to do it because I was like, man, if I botch this deal, this is my wife's best friend. My wife's going to be mad at me, and her best friend is going to be mad at me, and her best friend may be mad at her, and I may ruin a relationship. But I jumped out there and I did it, and everything that I told you guys what to do, except for finding a deal, she brought the deal to me, but I still had to go out there, market for the buyers. I still had to go out there and make sure we got pictures of the property. We had to make sure we found an attorney out there. We had to find a title company. So all of these steps that I'm sharing with you is something that I had to do personally. This is not anything that I heard someone say, this is what you have to do. This is what I'm doing on a daily basis. Was on a phone call this morning with a couple of different buyers this morning, and JV partners. That's one of the things that I failed to mention is when you're building that team, you want to find the biggest wholesaler in that market. You want to find the biggest cash buyer in that market and say, hey, you know what? How can we work together? I'm from Arizona. You're in Indianapolis. I want to find the major players in Indianapolis. And the best people to find that for you, again, is those title companies.
Hey, Marcus, when you speak to investors, should we mention the fact that our plan is to wholesale?
Yeah, absolutely. You can, because they understand the verbiage. They understand wholesaling, and you just let them know, you know what, I got this property under contract, or I'm looking to do some deals in Indianapolis, and I'm looking to assign them to quality end buyers that's going to do fix and flips or going to do buy and holds.
Yeah, that's you're a wholesaler. You're providing a service, right?
Providing a service and be transparent.
And you know, and when it comes to like virtual deal finding, it's like it's a wholesaling. You just got to understand wholesaling. I think just that besides, once you understand the process of wholesaling, you're just doing it from afar. Yes, like Marcus, you got to, you know, get resource. It's not being there is the hard part to grasp. I think for me, because like, you know, we're so used to touching, driving to the house, driving by it. I think that's the big gap right there, but it's just wholesaling, and you just got to find people in that market virtually over the phone or email or whatever it is. And besides that, even as a wholesaler, you do want to know there's like, you know, rules and regulations. There's a couple caveats that you want to understand, but it's nothing that should stop your business.
Yeah. And building that relationship with the title company, again, is key, because they're going to provide you access to who's the main buyers, who's the main wholesalers, what you can and cannot do, what they're looking for on their assignment agreement or on their contract, and they're going to cover all of the bases for you. So one of the things that I always tell people, if you've never been in that virtual market, try and go at least once and meet with that title company or that escrow officer and tell them exactly what you're going to do. So one of the things that I did was I went and I met with the attorney. How I found the attorney. This was another thing. I found the attorney because I did quite a few deals here with Fidelity National Title Company here in Arizona. So I asked Fidelity, my escrow officer in Fidelity, I said, hey, you know, we're going to be doing some deals in Illinois. Can you put me in contact with an escrow officer in Illinois? So they gave me the contact information. I reached out to them, had a conversation with them, and then they told me, they was like, well, you need to have a good attorney that can moderate these transactions and facilitate these transactions for you. So what did I do? Hey, recommend me some attorneys. And they recommended me like 4 or 5 attorneys. And then I went through and I interviewed, called, and then when I boiled it down to like the top 3, I flew out there and I met with each one of them. And the attorney that I use right now, not only is he my attorney, but he's my private lender. We own properties together, and he's actually an attorney for our nonprofit in Illinois as well. So it was a win-win just by connecting the dots from Arizona to that virtual state.
That's cool. Love it. All right. So yeah, I mean, we could wrap it up early. If there's no other questions, online, Facebook, Instagram, feel free to chime in. Yeah, man, that was good
Mike,
stuff. Yes.
Could Marcus show me how to find the demographic information on the US post?
Yep. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Let's see. I might have to go into my, give me 1 second. Let me look at something here and I can find it for you. Because I just did this as a training with our DFC students. That's Ernie, right?
Yep.
All right, Ernie, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
And, you know, and why he does that, everyone listen, you know, we do this every Wednesday, Not Another Lunch and Learn here on Zoom. Register on Esria.org. You can watch the replay on Instagram or Facebook. Every week we just let it roll. So, yeah, thank you. Any other questions out there?
Yeah, come on, guys, roll with the questions while I look this up for Ernie.
Another good way, you know, I know some, you know, if you're from a lot of people here in Arizona, we're from somewhere else, right? So like maybe you could, that can be an option, especially if you're looking for rentals or if you're just looking to wholesale. If you're looking to wholesale, it doesn't matter where you go. But hey, maybe you're more comfortable if you have a smaller market, you know, around the country where you're from. You just know the neighborhoods, you know, some people there that maybe you could tap into some resources or knowledge. Maybe just try your hometown. You know, that could be a good one. I do recommend maybe trying towns that are at least 200, 300,000 people. This way here, there's some type of market, some type of action going on where there's, you know, buyers active in the market, because you could probably lock up a cheap smoking deal in a small town with, you know, a few thousand people. However, the source of buyers are going to be limited. So that's going to be the hard part. So that's why I recommend, like I'm in Cleveland. I think there's maybe 400,000 people. So there's activity there, and we can sell a deal fairly fast. How do you find growth path in virtual markets?
The path of progress, you can do that by, again, having those relationships, talking to realtors, talking to other investors in those markets. And also,
what about like Census? I think Census.
Yep, I was going to say that Census Bureau, and then also being familiar with the Chamber of Commerce. That's a huge one, and I didn't know how valuable that information was until I really became engrossed in the Chamber of Commerce. And when you become engrossed in the Chamber of Commerce, naturally, those are all business owners and those are business professionals, and they're going to know the path of progress and the path of growth. So when you become, you know, familiar with the Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of them are virtually now, and you'll know what's coming, where it's coming, when it's coming, things like that. So Ernie, here you go. It's United States. It's UnitedStatesZipCodes.org/ and you put whatever zip code that you want in there. So I just did 60619, which is the Chatham neighborhood of Chicago, Illinois, Cook County. And you can go down, you can see the population. This is just in that area. Estimated population over time, you see there's a drastic decrease, but now it's ticking up just a little bit. You can see the median age, male, female. So that's just an example of getting to know exactly where your target demographic is. So head of household. So all of this information is right there. So United States ZipCodes.org / the zip code.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
All right.
Awesome. Well, once again, Marcus, thank you for spending your time with us talking about virtual wholesaling. Thanks everyone for being on here on Zoom, Instagram, Facebook. Like I said, the replays will be online. We'd love to have you guys as members. You know, if you found this valuable, we do over 15 events a month, 200 events a year, real estate education and networking and, you know, support opportunities. So love to have you a part of the community. Marcus, thank you. And everybody, see you next week, 12 o'clock.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.